Hey, let me just check and make sure that it's working. This is a new kind of little system that they have going here. So I wanted to come on today and just talk about something that it's really been on my mind a lot. I've been thinking a lot about you guys and some of the challenges that you might be facing when it comes to, having kids home, and I'm facing them all too. So I totally understand where you are. And one of the biggest challenges that I've had is that my um, my kids have been really feeling a lot of big emotions, right? So they've been maybe acting out more and getting more angry and having more sadness and everything and all in between. And I'm sure you guys are all experiencing that with your kids. Um, so I wanted to come on and let you know kind of like what I've been doing that has worked to help them get through it and to help me get through it. Because honestly, this has been their emotions have affected me so greatly. And I'm sure you all are in the same place where not only are you upset that they're upset because you feel bad for them, but then you are stressed because you see them feeling bad and you maybe feel like you don't know how to handle it. Like, where do I go from here? And is this ever going to end? So if you're asking yourself those questions, like, totally know that I'm with you. And I have some suggestions for you. So hopefully this will help. So basically, all of our kids are experiencing some big emotions that they don't know how to handle. And the reasons is because they are worried about all the things that we're talking about that they don't really understand. So they don't understand why we're stressed and angry and talking to each other and sort of yelling and that sort of thing. And they don't really understand how to handle these. Sorry, let me just stop this. Okay, so we're on. Good. So they don't understand how to handle these emotions. We don't even understand how to handle some of the emotions that we're going through. So when our kids are acting out in a way that is much more intense than normal, it's because they're repressing and they are, repressing feelings that they have or impulsively reacting to them more than we are. And so some of these emotions can look like anger, sadness, physical, fighting or throwing things or doing things that, like, maybe out of character for them. Um, they tend to be much more challenging to deal with because they're completely overwhelmed by this and it's something that they can't stop. And so I'll give you an example. So for me, all three of my kids have gone through something, pretty different than normal. One time, Ella was upset this week about going back to school after spring break. So I don't know if any of you experienced sort of that situation where it was the next day they had to go back to school. And all of Monday, she threw like three or four fits where it was screaming, crying. I mean, crying, like devastated, crying into her pillow, throwing things, yelling, anything you could think of. She was like throwing and being very physical and, just devastated. And her way of dealing with it was to be kind of outward like that and screaming, I don't want to go to school, and being very upset. So that was her way of dealing with it. Then Finn, he just started to kind of go inward and would just get so mad when I would try to put a schedule on, try to kind of help them with schedules. He would crumple up the schedule, erase the schedule, throw the schedule in the trash, anything he could to stop me from having a schedule. And it was actually like, this was in the beginning. And it got to the point where I said, okay, we are not having a schedule. That's written out, but I still had one kind of in my mind. But it triggered him to just, his control was just gone. He had no sense of control, no sense of security, no sense of schedule outside of one I was imposing on him, that he just lashed out. So that's what he did. He also, if I took away the TV from him, said it's time to stop with the TV. I have something I have to do on the computer that I need you to get off for. He one time took a basketball and put it on the computer and, looked like he was about to do something not great to the computer. And, things are just kind of coming to a head for all of us. All these emotions are just piling up on each other, right? And I couldn't believe all the things that were coming out. And even as a parent coach, as a life coach, someone that deals with emotions and knows how to, and knows how to handle kids, my own kids usually, if not right away, at least close to right away, I was like shocked. I was at a loss. And so I definitely made a bunch of mistakes. And so these mistakes I wanted to bring to your attention, because they didn't help at all. They didn't help the situation. And actually they made things a lot worse. So some of the mistakes I made were when Finn was throwing things or getting physical, I tried to ignore him. I tried to talk to him. I tried to physically restrain him. I then got so frustrated with all of those things that I tried to do that I yelled. And I yelled, "What is wrong with you? Just tell me what you need." Okay. So I wanted to figure him out. I wanted to figure out what was going on, and I wanted to solve the problem. So that's what I was doing with Finn that was not working. With Ella, I tried to hug her. I tried to help her feel her feelings, process them in her body. I tried to explain to her that basically, if you don't do this work, you won't be able to go to fourth grade. So I threatened her with certain things. And I just could not figure out how to get through to them at this point. So I also was having thoughts that were not helping me. Okay, so I talk a lot about in this group, I talk a lot about how thoughts are what causes you to act a certain way. Your thoughts cause your feelings, and your feelings cause your actions. So what happened was I had thoughts like, I can't handle this. This is too much. Why are they doing this to me was one of the thoughts I had. This isn't fair. Okay, that was another thought. I don't want to deal with this right now. I basically was taking all of it personally, which is not a super helpful situation to be in. And then when I thought these thoughts, I would get really, really angry and very defensive. And then I would do things that didn't work, like these things I just explained to you. So what is happening when our kids are going through these emotions is that they're communicating to us. Okay. When they're being physical, they're hyper physical, they're pulling on us, they're upset, they're throwing things. It feels to us like there's some sort of attack happening on us as parents, but in reality, it's not against us. It's really not personal. What it is that they're trying to communicate to us what's going on, and they just don't know how. So if you have had any of these experiences with your kids, just know that, if this is the situation, they are trying to tell you that they cannot handle their emotions and they need your help. So what happens is when we start to shut down around our kids having these emotions, we're doing the opposite of what they need from us. And it feels really counterintuitive to actually go towards your child to help them with their emotions when they're acting out this way, because it feels like we're putting ourselves in some sort of harm, right? Our brains are like, don't do that, run away, don't go near your child, like get them to stop in any way possible. But in reality, that makes it worse because our kids need us more when they're going through this. And so the other thing is I was talking about when we start to take things personally, then we get very angry. Okay. So that really doesn't help the situation when you're trying to help them calm. When you're angry, it just escalates things. And so what we need to do is we need to instead figure out what thoughts you're having about your kids, like I did, that's really causing the anger and causing you to act out. So for me, my thoughts were, why are they doing this to me? This isn't fair, that sort of thing, causing me to just become more angry and not act in the way I wanted to and not actually escalate the situation in the end. So what we need to do once we become aware of the thoughts we're having about our kids is that we need to find new thoughts and practice those new thoughts that help us feel calm, help us feel like everything is going to be okay. Because when we can get to calm, then we can access our tools and we can access all these different ideas I'm going to bring to you next, which is some actual practical things to do. But if we don't have our calming thoughts, we won't be able to get there. So some of my calming thoughts are, of course, they're upset. This is a really hard time for everyone. And I try to find compassion for myself. I try to find compassion for my kids for what they're going through. And then I really say things like, it's not about me. They are upset. They need me. They're not doing this on purpose to me. And I know that deep in my heart, those thoughts make me feel better. So I can go there. And so when you get to those places where you're feeling calm, then the next thing you can do is you can take these next steps. So when your kids are actually lashing out in the moment, there's a couple things you can do. One is sometimes, this is what I learned, you don't need to figure it out. You don't need to solve their problem. And this is really a big one for me. I struggle with this a lot. But if you step back and you literally do nothing but just sit there, support them, physically be there, but not try to solve what's going on with them, and just remain calm and be there in their sadness or their grief or their despair, be there in that with them. That can actually be incredibly cathartic for them and brings them to acceptance of their own feelings so that they don't last longer, so that they don't add drama to them, or that you don't add more drama to them. Okay. So sometimes you just need to do nothing and just remain calm. The other thing that really helps is that sometimes validating their feelings, labeling their feelings, is exactly what they need to hear. So when Ella was upset about school starting, I just said to her, I know, I get it. This is hard. I'm so sad too. And I would just kind of say that and then wait and then say, you're so angry that you can't go back to school. I understand that. And it hurts me too. And it's okay. It's totally okay to be angry. And then I would try to help her understand that that's what she was going through by repeating some things and labeling some things for her, labeling some emotions. And I was able to stay calm because I had those calming thoughts, like nothing has gone wrong, that my daughter's upset. She is supposed to be upset right now. This is healthy. Also, by doing that, I was listening to her. I was respecting what she was going through. I wasn't trying to change it immediately, right? I wasn't trying to force her to get better and feel better. And I wasn't trying to solve what was going on. I was just leaning into it. And you have to really know how to manage what's going on in your head in order to do that. And so this has been a really good experience for me to practice that. Also, you want to make sure that once they are calm, the next step, once they've gone through their fit or their meltdown, is that the next step is to find solutions with them. So once they're calm, you're going to go to them and say, hey, bud, when you're angry, it's totally fine, but we cannot throw things. Let's talk about some new ways to actually be angry, but not hurt yourself, others, or anything in the house. And then you want to really talk it through with them. Give them some solutions, have them brainstorm some solutions of what they can do when they're angry. And then you want to make sure that in that way, you then role play it. Okay. So then you role play it out. So let's say we want to play tug of war with a blanket when we're angry. Then you actually say, here's a blanket. Let's start. Let's play tug of war and see how it goes. This is what, if you were angry, let's imagine you're angry, you're yelling. Here you go, tug of war blanket. So when you do in the moment have to give them a blanket or tug of war, they know what to do and they know what it's like. They know what the situation is. And then also you can talk about ways that they can find compassion for themselves in that moment, like helping them to understand that they're okay and they're going to be okay. Emotions are normal. Emotions are part of being human. And this is a really emotional time that we're all going through. And so we can all do it together. We can all find compassion for each other and compassion for ourselves. So this is one of the best times for us to be learning about ourselves, learning about our kids, being there with our kids through some of these challenges and learning how we can better deal with our challenges and better deal with our emotions that might be taking over. And so I just want to invite you to join me in my group coaching program, which is starting next Monday on the 20th. And we talk a lot about how to stay calm and patient around your kids so that you can actually effectively help them in these situations. And you can feel okay about all of, everything your kids go through. You can actually be there with them and be upset with them and it not mean anything. And it just be present with them. And it's a huge gift that I have that I want to give to you guys, because I feel that this has completely transformed me as a parent, that I can allow my kids to be upset. I can understand where they're coming from. I can have compassion for them in addition to being able to stay calm and be compassionate with myself. And then, of course, I teach a lot of positive discipline tools and ways to work together with your kids so that you have tools to really handle what's going on with them. There you go, buddy. So basically, it's both things together, and it's the combination is just so powerful. I also am going to be starting some parenting support groups, which are going to be much less commitment, but still hopefully really helpful, either weekly or biweekly, like 1 hour a week. And it's going to be a group of parents. So if either of those things look like something you'd want to be, if you're interested in and you want some support, what happened, bud? All right, go ask Ella. So if either of these things sound like something that you might be interested in getting support through this really challenging time, please put a comment below. I'm going to put the link for the Calm Confidence group coaching program. But if you feel like a parenting support group is something you might be interested in, comment below your ages, your kids' ages, and their and that you're interested in the parenting program. And I will send you a message, because we're going to get together and we're going to support each other. And I'm going to be there to support you in any way you need, because this is so valuable to us as parents right now. This is what I have, used as my life raft. And it's such a gift. So I would love for you guys to experience it too. So if you have any questions or comments, please let me know underneath. This is like a new streaming setup in Facebook, so I'm not seeing comments, but I would be happy to answer them and come back. So thank you guys so much. And I really hope that you, are connecting with your kids and really enjoying as much as you can through this time. All right. Have a great one. Take care. I got to figure out how to turn this off. Okay. I don't know how to turn this off.